Imagine a boy standing alone beneath a flickering streetlight, clutching nothing but hope in his trembling hands. No home, no family, no food, just the stubborn refusal to give up. And if stories of unstoppable courage and impossible victories inspire you, then pause for a moment and like this video and subscribe to Slow and Steady Win the Race, because what you're about to hear could shift the way you look at your own life forever. His name was Aiden, a 15-year-old whose world collapsed one cruel night when his parents' car crashed on a highway far from the city, leaving him orphaned with no relatives willing to take him in. And so the streets became his shelter, the cold pavement his bed, and the sound of passing cars his lullaby. He woke up every morning with the ache of hunger gnawing at his ribs, the humiliation of being ignored cutting deeper than the winter wind. But deep inside him lived a fire that refused to die. Instead of begging, he observed. Instead of complaining, he listened. Instead of blaming the world for his pain, he promised himself that one day he would transform it. Each morning, he slipped into the public library before the crowds appeared, hiding between the shelves, absorbing the wisdom of books like a sponge drenched in hope. He devoured stories of entrepreneurs, dreamers, inventors, and leaders, scribbling notes on scraps of cardboard he found in trash bins. He studied business strategies, marketing principles, and stories of people who rose from nothing. He spent hours learning how companies were built, how ideas became empires, and how people who had once been broke became legends whose names echoed around the world. But books alone couldn't fill his stomach or help him escape the streets. What changed everything was a broken smartphone he found behind a cafe, cracked but still functional enough to access the internet using free Wi-Fi. That device became his university, his teacher, and his lifeline. He watched tutorials on digital marketing, design, editing, and branding until his fingers went numb and his eyes burned from sleepless nights. One evening, while warming himself beside a bakery's exhaust vent, Aiden overheard two cafe owners discussing their struggle with attracting customers. His heart hammered in his chest as he approached them, dirty, cold, and trembling, but determined. "I can help you," he whispered, and they laughed at him at first, mocking the idea that a homeless boy could do anything useful. But courage isn't born from comfort, and Aiden persisted. "Give me a chance." "One chance. If you don't like what I make, I'll walk away," he said with conviction so sharp it silenced their doubts. Reluctantly, they allowed him to try. Under the dim glow of a street lamp, using his cracked phone and a free design app, Aiden created a vibrant, eye-catching poster that looked like it had been made by a professional. When he showed it to the cafe owners, their jaws dropped. They didn't expect talent wrapped in torn clothes and shivering hands. The next morning, the poster attracted more customers, and the cafe owners paid him out of gratitude. That moment was the spark. Word spread. A small restaurant requested branding help. A boutique asked for social media designs. A startup wanted promotional videos. Aiden worked tirelessly, hiding his homelessness, sleeping behind buildings or under bridges, but slowly building a portfolio that impressed anyone who saw it. Every cent he earned went into renting a tiny room so he could work in peace, and once he had a stable place, his growth exploded. He started a small online agency offering marketing services, designing logos, websites, and advertisements for businesses. What began with a cracked phone became a second-hand laptop, then better software, then a dedicated workspace, and finally a team of young freelancers he recruited from the very library where he once learned. He treated each team member with kindness because he knew what it felt like to be invisible. His agency grew rapidly because he understood people. He had lived through hunger, rejection, and pain, and that gave him a heart full of empathy and a mind filled with unstoppable determination. Within a few years, Aiden's company expanded into branding, digital ads, media production, and tech solutions. Investors noticed his relentless spirit, his authenticity, and his ability to turn failure into fuel, and soon his company evolved into a multi-million-dollar empire serving clients nationwide. Aiden became a symbol of resilience, an inspiration for thousands of youth who felt lost or hopeless. He returned to the very streets he once slept on, building shelters and training centers for homeless children, teaching them the skills he once learned while freezing in the dark. Reporters asked him how he transformed fear into success, and he always gave the same answer. I built my empire with hunger in my stomach and fire in my heart. And as he stood on stage one evening, addressing a hall packed with aspiring entrepreneurs, he looked at the crowd with eyes that had once seen only darkness, but now sparkled with victory. "If I could build an empire from the sidewalk," he said, "imagine what you can build with the tools you already have." Dear viewer, if Aiden's journey strengthened your belief in your own dreams, then please like this video and subscribe to Slow and Steady Win the Race, so you never miss another story that fuels your spirit and reminds you that your starting point does not decide your destiny.